weather isn't too great today, so I was not out doing any real estate shoots this morning. So I was trying to seize the opportunity to shoot a video. So
Absolutely. All right, well, it is noon and we're not going to delay time. We're going to jump right in and get started. We're so excited to have everybody joining us. We have people from all over the world. We have Norway, we have Spain, we have Moldova, we have Washington, we have New Jersey, North Carolina. If you want to drop in chat where you're from, we'd love to hear it. Just want to walk you through what we're going to do today. We're going to be talking about how to grow your business and really from the ground up. We have some questions for Mike about Mike and his business. We're going to talk about business, about working with real estate agents, about floor plans. We're going to cover a little bit of everything. So without further ado, let's jump right in. And the first question, Mike, that we have for you is, how did you get started in photography?
well, I started with photography in college, really, but I was actually a film and video concentration. I have a fine arts degree at Rutgers University in New Jersey here. So I studied film and video production, and but I did a lot of photography classes as well. It's something I always like to do. But then finishing college, I worked in television for like 8 years in New York City. I did mostly motion graphics work on TV shows. And then my cousin, I also did like photography and video jobs on the side, whether it was like, I did some, occasional events like weddings and, things of that nature. But my cousin became a real estate agent. And then, so I was like, well, let me help you out. I'm a photographer. You're my cousin. I'll shoot some homes for you. So that's really what got me going. And I had no idea what I was doing then. I just, it's like, this was like, by the way, like, I think 2008 or so, 12 years ago or so. So that's how long I've been doing it. But I was just showing up with a handheld camera and like had a wide angle lens. That's all I knew. And like, I had no idea what I was doing. And this whole process of real estate photography, like, I knew nothing when I first started doing it. And then I learned as I went along. So, so yeah. And then that's really how I started. And then she ended up actually becoming a broker and opening her own agency. And it's not something that I thought would be my career at the beginning. I loved doing it. And I thought it would be awesome to do it every day. I didn't even know if people did, like when I first started doing it, I didn't even know that there was people out there doing it as a career. Like this whole thing was like a whole new world to me back then. And so as her agency grew, obviously she told her agents to use me. And so then it just started snowballing. And then those agents some of those agents went to other agencies and told those new agents about me, just the whole thing, and then eventually after I was a part-time gig for a while. And then after a little bit of time, then I was like, I can make a thing out of this. So I just kind of, that's how it blossomed, so.
It sounds like a very familiar story. I remember the first time I did a real estate shoot, and when I look back on those pictures, it's like, no,
yeah,
you don't know what you're doing. You jump in, and somebody says, "Hey, you do pictures? Can you shoot real estate?" Absolutely, I can.
Right.
So, but it's
Right.
great to see your progression and to see what you're doing with video and all of that, which we'll jump into. Well, can you describe, what your typical day is like, when you're shooting and when you're out there, just kind of a shoot day and then the processing, what does that look like?
Yeah, so typically most days I'm shooting I shoot anywhere from like 3 to 6 homes a day usually, quite busy usually. Depends, but so I'm usually out all day shooting, like full day typically, unless like I said today, with the weather, if it's raining and obviously people cancel or reschedule, and then I use those days to like do YouTube videos or, you know, whatever else I'm working on. Yeah, as far as editing and processing, so at night when I get home, you know, I'm getting all my images uploaded off my cards, and, you know, I do have an editor that I use that helps me, because it's just literally physically impossible for me to edit all my images by myself. I would have to be awake 24 hours a day. So I just can't do it. So I need help in that regard. So I have an editor I've been working with for a while. So really helped, you know, communicate what I want with them. So yeah, that, you know, that's a process too. But I do some of my own editing too. If it's a house that I really am excited about, or, you know, whatever, or maybe it was a higher end shoot, and then I'll edit it myself, or, you know, all my video stuff, like all my real estate videos, drone stuff, like I edit that all myself. So I'm doing quite a bit of editing, and then anything my editor sends back to me, then, you know, I usually make tweaks on that. So I'm still every night, even though I'm sending a lot of that my photo editing out, like I'm spending, you know, 3 to 4 hours every night after I get back doing some sort of editing. So I'm always working pretty much.
Nice. So
Mike,
go
I
ahead,
just want
Tammy.
to chime in to say, as for myself, I still want to be like, have my hands in everything and control everything. But what you're doing, and that was one of the questions that I was really curious about for you, is those tasks that you have found that you can outsource. It gives you more time to be out shooting and doing what you love and growing more business and creating more, but generating more business. So
Yeah.
are there other things like that that you've sort of let go to other people so that you can do more of what you like to be doing?
Not really, I wouldn't say. I mean, that's basically it. I do like shooting more so than editing too. So that's something I will say. I'm not, you know, I do enjoy editing on some level, but it becomes tedious to me after a while. And yeah, so it's not my favorite part of the job. I do like to shoot more than anything, but so yeah, I don't want to limit myself shooting because of editing. I know, you know, and plus it's hard in real estate photography, especially. I feel like you need to do, at least in my market, I feel, you know, you need to do some good volume to really make a good living. Otherwise, you know, if you're getting paid a lot of money for a shoot, then okay, I would do, you know, maybe shoot half the day and then edit half the day. But it's like, you know, for me to make a good living, I feel like I need to be shooting as much as possible. So that's another reason why, you know, you know, kind of no choice but to outsource some editing, because otherwise, yeah, I mean, you know, for the money that I'm getting paid, it's just not worth it, you know. So
Yeah. And so kind of that, or either it would come to the point where you need to start adding employees or subcontractors to satisfy all your customers. Is that something that you've thought about, or do you like keeping it just you?
well, like I said, everything, like it's tough. Even when I first started, you know, outsourcing some editing, like that was a tough decision for me. Like I didn't want to do it because I am very like particular about everything. So, but you know, I don't think that's what I want to do. Like I don't want to have a team or anything. Like I'd rather just, if I get too busy, I'd rather just raise my prices and like
Right.
yeah, like weed some people out or whatever it is, you know, like just, I don't know. So I should mention too, like years ago when I was first, what helped me go actually full time I contracted myself out to my friend Frank at Motion City Media. I want to shout him out. Who we're still very good friends, and they're another local. He has a big team. Like, I don't know how many photographers they have now, but I think it's like 20 or so. Like, so he's got a pretty big team. But when I kind of got involved with him, this was like 7 years. I don't know, a while ago now. It was just him. And his business has really grown, and he got a team, and he went that whole route, and he's doing great, and it's fantastic. And I still do work for them when they need, like if they'll reach out, hey, can you do this or what? Yeah, like we have a very good relationship. I do work for them still, like especially like video stuff. I know, and whatever they need, if they need help with anything. But my point is that which was like this past year with like COVID and everything. I actually I took myself out of the field for a while because my son he was born very early. He's a preemie. He's got he had chronic lung disease and all these things. I mean, he's doing well now. Thank God. He's 4 now. He's, kind of outgrown a lot of it, but he was on oxygen the whole first year of his life and all this stuff. So he's got a history of this, respiratory stuff, and which this was a respiratory illness, very scary. So I didn't want to, risk his safety. So for the first, it was 3 or 4 months, I took myself out of the field, and that's when I started the YouTube channel, because I was like, that's something I always wanted to do. But it was just hard finding the time. So I took that time to do that. But anyway, during that time, Frank at Motion City Media, he lent some of his photographers that were still working, and they covered my shoots for me for my own business. So that was very, very kind of him to do that for me. And, gave them more work too. So, they weren't upset about it. They were getting paid for it or whatever. So that's also another benefit of being involved with a team and having work, because if it's just you and, say you have a family situation, or, or you get sick, or, and you can't serve your clients, it's, that's the advantage of being involved with a team, or knowing other photographers. I definitely am grateful for that. And I definitely recommend that you have some sort of network of other photographers that that you can help each other out in those situations or whatever, because I think that's important,
I agree.
You're really right. Sorry, Mark, go ahead.
Yeah, I think, the philosophy of community over competition is important, especially in the world of real estate, because like you said, Mike, you never know when you're going to need help or somebody. And I think that's even what we're building here at CubiCasa, is a community where you can reach out, ask questions, share information, and maybe even reach out to a fellow photographer when you need help, or even send work to somebody else. And I think that when we have that mindset, it really shifts everything and changes the game, because we've all been in some predicament that we need help. So I think when we seek first to help and give information, it makes it a lot easier when the tables are turned.
Yeah. I agree too. And I'm really happy to see, I've been a photographer for a long time, and I feel like just industry-wide community over competition is much more common now than it used to be. I feel like everything used to be very competitive. No one wanted to share information.
Yeah.
And I remember when I first started out and I was doing wedding photography, I sought out other people who I knew who were doing it, because at some point you're going to be sick, or your kid is going to be sick, and you're going to need someone to cover a shoot for you. So it's really important to create that.
Agreed.
So that was a great idea.
How do you handle booking appointments? Do they, do people call you directly? Do you have a link on your website? How does that process work? Because I know there are some people here who may be just starting out. We had some relative new people. Do you use a web, multiple systems? How does that work for you?
I'm pretty old school about it. Everyone just usually texts me or calls me, more so texting than anything. and I'll just plug them in to my calendar on my phone. And I feel like I've been looking at some scheduling things, and but it's just like, even if I have that, I feel like I'm still just going to get texted and called. It's like,
Yeah.
I just feel like that's the way they're going to go about it, because like they can get that instant answer from me, like, yes, that's good, no, that's not. Like, I feel like real estate agents are always like, they're either like at their listing appointment and they're like they're trying to schedule photos with the homeowner like on the spot. You know what I mean? It's like it's always like, it's very they always want instant answers and
Yes.
quick turnaround on everything. So another reason about the editing thing, like I get my photos back the next day, because that's what everyone really wants. Or I got people asking about same day edits, and it's just they always want everything quick. So like,
Yeah.
it's another reason, if I could take, if I could be 2-3 days behind on editing, maybe I could do more of it myself. You know what I mean? But yeah. So anyway, it's just, but yeah. So I haven't implemented any sort of scheduling app or anything at this point. I'm actually like, like I said, I've been looking into it. I'm making a video on Aereo. You've heard, those guys, Aereo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And they have scheduling in their system there. And I had a meet with them. I am like doing a review on that right now. So I've been trying that out. Look for my video on it. I'll tell you my opinion about it. I don't know whether or not I'll be using it or not, but I'm exploring that platform right now. We'll see where that takes me. I don't know, but but no, not as of right now. I'm not using any sort of scheduling.
Yeah, I know Tammy and I both use HD Photo Hub, which is an awesome tool. Great for people if you want to try it out. But I think one of the key things you said is, we have relationships, or we should be having relationships with our realtors, and talking to them, establishing what works, because I have some that would prefer to just go online and book. I have others that text. I have others that call. So it's really building that relationship and that rapport so that you find out what works best for them. Because if we just have a set system that's the only thing that we're going to do, then we're going to miss out on not only business, but we're going to miss out on opportunities to really connect. Mm-hmm. So I think it's important that we're flexible, and kind of leads me right into the next segment of, working with real estate agents, because again, they're always on the move. It's like, I want it now. I got to go. I'm busy. Oh, wait, somebody else is calling. So, are you involved with any local real estate associations to really, drive your engagement, or how does that work?
Yeah, I'm an affiliate member of Monmouth and Ocean County, where I'm from, Regional Realtors. They have affiliate members or vendors like that are affiliates. That's got me some connections with the local real estate association here, and connected me with some agents that I now have as clients, which is nice. They charge, it's like you have to pay like a couple $100 for the year to be a member or whatever. But it opens you up to their network, so it's nice.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
What do you do to market yourself?
Nothing really. It's just been like, I'm definitely not a marketing expert by any means. It's really just like it's been pretty organic for me. Like I was mentioning before, just like word of mouth, like, just, like who has a big team and he services like, a wide area, like he has a big roster of clients. Like he's never done any marketing of any kind really. He's got like a social media person now, but like, it's just, I'm not saying that you shouldn't do any marketing, but just in my case, the first few years I was doing it, like I said, I wasn't even thinking about even doing it full time at first until I was like, wow, like I'm getting a lot of calls. Like this can be scaled into a, my full time gig.
Right.
So it just kind of happened. I got lucky. Kind of fell in my lap with my cousin becoming a realtor and then opening a brokerage and everything. So like, I was lucky in that regard. And my wife, she doesn't anymore, but she used to work for a real estate company. So she had I just had connections in the industry, like, so I was lucky.
Well, I think you were lucky, but also obviously it has a lot to do with you, and you certainly have a lot of energy. And so when you were just getting started, were you commuting then? So you would commute to New York to do all of
Yeah.
your production work, and then plus you would just fill in with real estate?
Yeah. So I was basically a freelancer when I did the TV thing. So yeah, I'd work on a show for a couple months, and then that show would be done, and then I might have some time off for a few weeks in between, and then I'd do this type of stuff, or yeah. So, or I just had to carve out some time for it or whatever. But yeah, I was commuting, just taking a train to New York every day, hour and a half each way. And that's the other thing. Like, I didn't, after doing the TV thing up there for a while, like, I got burned out on it. It's kind of a ruthless industry.
Mhm.
They don't really care. They don't really care about they don't really care about you very much. I mean, I don't want to, generalize, but it's always like, it's always just like, oh, there's six other people waiting for your job right now. Like, see you later, kind of thing. It's just like, but I just didn't dig the vibe of it, and yeah, it just wasn't much. There wasn't much love there, I guess. Yeah, so I was
That's
just like, yeah, and that's another thing that made me want to do something else too, but maybe like also, I guess, pursue this more. And like, I was looking to stay in New Jersey down here, and I didn't want to move to the city. And I was like, what can I do? And then this started building, and I was like, all right, well, let me see what I can do with this, like, and I do, like I said, enjoy the work. And so I'm glad to do it every day. So.
That's awesome. So you mentioned early in the conversation that drones, and we've talked about floor plans. How do you go about positioning add-ons with your clients so that they understand and know what they are, and then how to effectively, sell them or, get them to buy in?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think my main strategy has been, I'll just like, especially, with clients, I wouldn't do this like with like a first time client or something, but like most of my clients that, I've had a relationship with for years or whatever. And I'll be like, I'll throw one in for free. Like, let me do I'll do a floor plan, let me throw a floor plan in for you, like, it's a nice thing to do. And it's like, I appreciate, that's how I appreciate your business. I'll throw in a floor plan on this shoot for free. Just like, so like you're doing them a favor, but also you're like, check this out, you know what I mean? So it's like a win-win there, it's like, so I try to turn them on, or like, I live on the coast here in New Jersey. So it's, drone is a big thing here because proximity to the beach and everything. That's always something people want to show off. And then all the agents that just get photos all the time, I'm like, let me do a drone shoot for you. You're like, this is a huge, like, you're 4 blocks from the beach. This is how you use it. This is something you need to be utilizing. Let me show you. And so I'll do, throw in some drone shots, and just that's what I mainly do to try to turn them on to new things. Also, just periodically, I'll try to just like send an email out to clients and just, hey, like these are some of the new services I have, like, you know, this is what I'm charging, and, you know, I'm seeing a lot of success with these things, you know, just to try to, you know, get the word out about those things that I'm doing, you know. So those are a couple of things that I do that seem to work more or less.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. And what I've seen, so there are a couple of things. One, I know you have it on your website, which, you know, which is great. And, you know, a lot of people will try to sell something that they don't even advertise or talk about. So I think it's great to have a landing page or, you know, something that tells about it. But one of the most important things that you mentioned is the fact that you show it to them, you know, because we can talk all day about aerial footage, drones, we can talk all day about floor plans, but until people understand it, see it, know it, they don't really get it. You know, I've had realtors on site where I just say, hey, you know what, let me show you something. And I scan the property and then I send them the floor plan. And you know, when we can have a conversation and they see that it took me no time at all, they have this incredible floor plan, and then we talk about the benefits of what that can do for them, it changes the entire dynamic. So I think, you know, some of those points that you're doing are really strong. And I think that those, you know, who are in the audience can really benefit from that. You know, get a landing page on your website, make sure you talk about it, provide some of those statistics, but don't leave it there. Make sure you follow up, talk to your agents, explain what it is, show it to them, you know, offer it at an either discounted price or maybe the first one free. And because once they try it, it's like, man, you know, the
Yeah,
realtors that I've used that tried it, they're like, I got to have it now.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then they'll want it every time. And
Yep.
yeah, like you just mentioned, those like you guys, I pointed out in my video that I made about CubiCasa or whatever. But like the some of the stats that you guys have on your website, which is great that you guys include that on there to help us photographers like help market it. And like, you know, we're spending on a shoot, I'm spending like an hour or so with an agent. A lot of times it's just, you know, us in the house, or, you know, and then they're walking around with me, we're talking, you know, you're spending an hour talking to these people. That's like, these are things you can talk about while you're spending time with them, you know, like,
Absolutely.
you know, all these, you know, hey, did you ever think about floor plans? You know, this is the advantages and all, you know, all that. And yeah, especially with like this year with the COVID situation and everything, and people not going into people's home or being hesitant to go into people's homes. I mean, now things are changing a lot with the vaccine and everything, but especially earlier this year, like tons of, you know, 3D virtual tours, tons of video, like all these agents getting stuff they never got before, floor plans, like
Yeah.
anything they could help to market their properties and give people an idea of what they're like without having to have the people come. Like, you know, agents were utilizing all these things, which was great for me and for us as real estate photographers, because like I have, I don't know how many of my clients, but definitely a good few of them, like now that are, you know, even though people don't seem to be quite hesitant anymore to go to a showing, but they're still like, now they're like, oh, I need to have the floor plan and the 3D now every time. Like they're just, I'm hoping that they just keep ordering those things, you know,
Yeah.
like, so yeah, they realize, like you said, they realize the value of these things once they use them, and, you know, and then once they do realize that value becomes, you know, indispensable. So
Agree. And first of all, let me take a moment to just say thank you for the video that you produced. It was really awesome. We'll put it in the notes below. But it was really great, and it was a great opportunity to hear a different perspective about the use of floor plans. And so, just from CubiCasa, thank you for doing that
yeah.
unsolicited, and it was really good. And like I said, we'll share it and make sure that people have access to it. Um, do you offer floor plans individually, or do you have them kind of built into your pricing, your normal pricing?
I just have them as an add-on, like everything else.
Okay.
I don't package my services in any way. I don't have packages. Everything's a la carte basically. Um, I don't know. I just always preferred that sort of structure. myself. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so that's how I do it. Yeah, I just feel like I see like, I mean, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like you might, in pricing your services that way, like packages, I feel like sometimes I see a lot of other real estate photographers packages and I'm like, man, they're like they're selling themselves short there. Like discounting too much or whatever. Like, I think it's I mean, you can do it right, but like, I think then once people start bundling things, then they feel like they need to come down on the price, and it's just they're taking money out of their own pocket. I feel like, I mean, that's just how I feel about it.
Agreed.
Yeah. So I'm hesitant on that. but I will like I like the client, like yesterday I spent like the whole day at one shoot, and I have this client that she's she probably is my best client. She's fantastic. She orders like literally every service I have, she'll order for her shoots. You know, 3D, photos, video, drone, twilight, like everything. And so I was there like the whole entire day, floor plans. So like for her, like if one of my clients orders all that, like I'll be like, you know, all right, I'll be like, you know, thanks. Like, because you're ordering so much, you know, I'll knock whatever, like I'll come down on the price a little bit. And, you know, and then they appreciate that because, you know, you're doing that for them as a favor almost, instead of like them upfront just ordering it and that's the price. And they don't feel that like, oh, you're doing a nice thing for me. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I will discount a little bit if someone's ordering a whole bunch of services, as a thank you, you know, like, yeah, you know, that's one thing I'll say too, like, as far as just, you know, building a photography business, you know, treating your clients well and showing your appreciation in whatever way, you know, like that's huge. I feel like, and that's how, like I said, like my business has been 100% like referrals and word of mouth. And that's how you get referrals and word of mouth, is by, you know, obviously providing a good product, but that's seriously like, I feel like that's like half the battle, you know. It's like people put so much value. Oh, if I have the best looking photography, like, you know, people are just, my phone's gonna be ringing off the hook. And it's like, yeah, it's important to have a good product, obviously, but you know, what's almost more important is treating your clients well, you know, personality, being nice, being accommodating. You know, some agents are gonna, you know, they can drive you crazy, but like you can't don't get, you know, you can't get frustrated and, you know, short with them. You just got to be, you know, if you're patient, you're good to them, you know, to a degree. I mean, obviously you're not going to, you know, if someone's being absolutely ridiculous and abusive towards you, then, you know, that's a whole nother story. But like, you know, I mean, just like, yeah, being kind, being good, showing your appreciation, show up with a cup of coffee to the shoot. Hey, I just stopped and got coffee. I got you one, you know, just little things like that. Like, just go a long way to client retention and, you know, building relationships with these people. Cause that's really like the name of the game for me. It's like, you know, I've had some of these clients now for over a decade, you know. It's like, there's plenty of other photographers out there that they can go to. So you got to show them why they should stick with you, you know, and don't, you know, make the case for why they shouldn't go anywhere else, you know. So
Agreed.
just a huge part of any business, really, but, you know, this business as well, you know.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree. And that's probably one of the best pieces of it, is that, we don't have coworkers. So those people sort of become like your work family.
Mhm.
So that's my favorite thing, is creating those relationships with people. It's such a huge compliment when you have someone request you specifically and who will wait for you.
Yeah, yeah.
It just makes you feel good. It validates your work and all of your skills. So
Yeah. Yeah, and then these people, like, these people invite me to like barbecues now. Like, it's like, that's the kind of relationships that you want to start, to build. As um, you become, you become part of their team, even though they're hiring you. You know what I mean? Like, that's how a lot of people look at me, like, use me, like, and when I'm there with the homeowner and the agent, they're like, Mike's been part of my team for, whatever. They refer to me as part of their team. And it's like,
yes,
yes,
I love that.
yeah, like I'm part of their product that they're offering. Like, oh, you saw what I did at such and such house. That's because, Mike's my photographer. I use him for everything. We're going to do the same thing here at your house. It's like, they use me, to get, I'm part of their marketing to get business. You know what I mean? So it's just like that relationship is, huge. So
Yeah, and I think, that's even how I market myself to real estate agents is I'm part of your team. This is just an extension of who you are to accomplish what it is that you're trying to do. So I think, everything that you said has been on point from that perspective, because when we position ourselves as part of the team, when we, provide excellent customer service, when we show the value of add-ons, when we, find technology that will help them do what they do better, we become then indispensable. So, it's like, oh, well, I don't want to just switch. I want to stay with my team. I want to stay with, who I've invested in and who has helped me to do what I do. So I think that's important. And part of our team here at CubiCasa is in the chat. And our team, what we're doing is we're developing some marketing tools. We just put up a poll talking about some of the materials. We have some already, and we're creating more to help photographers, because we're busy, just like you said earlier, you're out all day on shoots. And sometimes we don't have the ability to sit back and create marketing materials. We don't have the time to come up with cool ideas. So we're going to help you by providing you some things that you can plug and play or simply make a few adjustments. And, whether it's put on social media, whether it's a banner for your website, we're putting those things in motion so that you have some of the tools that you need to accomplish those goals. So we're excited to do it. And I think it'll be a help across the board, because again, when you have those tools that you can share with a realtor, it just makes the whole process a whole lot easier.
yeah, it's great.
Thank you, Marc, for highlighting this. I would like to mention that we prepared a special thank you gift for all our participants. So what I will do now, I will post the topic, the message in this group, but then you can reply separately, individually to CubiCasa with mailing address. So just CubiCasa will see your address.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that, Anastasia.
Appreciate it.
Before we jump back into a question or into the comments from Mike, we just got a question. And this is from Randall. He said, I recently moved across the country and finding it difficult to get new clients. The clients I did get do not want to share with me other realtors. They love my work and do not want other realtors having the same quality photos. Has anyone experienced this? It's a great question, Randall. And actually, I'm a prime example. I last year moved across country as well and experienced some of the same. But I think really what it is now the opportunity for you to really get out and make as many introductions and things as you can, meet as many realtors as you can. Some, are willing to share, some aren't. I've had some of my realtors who post me on their social media and say, hey, here's my guy, here's, and this is just after 2 or 3 months. But again, when you provide that service and some of the things that even Mike talked about, meeting for coffee, just to get to know people, doing some of those pieces, it really makes a difference in the value of the relationship. And once that happens, you know, like I said, I've had a couple that have posted me on their social media and said, this is my guy. And they've worked with even, you know, some other people that are in circles that I operate in. But I think the more we do, the better it becomes. And some won't share, and that's okay. You just keep getting in those circles, maybe join some associations, you know, become a part of the real estate community so that others find out about you. And again, your name will get out there, but you know, it's some work that you'll have to do as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was going to mention. Like, as far as building a real estate photography business, it's, you need to meet potential clients. So any place that you can rub elbows with real estate agents, like that's what you want to do. Any way you can connect with them. I know it's hard. It's especially hard right now with like no event and no any of this. Like I know like here in New Jersey, like every year there's like a huge real estate convention in Atlantic City here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, thousands of realtors there. It's like go to those things, you know, once those things happen again or whatever. But like those are the things, like go to those things, like any, like, and there's local things where, local events, anything where real estate agents are at doing something, you know, go to those things, talk to people. Cause yeah, just like trying to send emails out to you know, that people just feel like that's spamming, and, you know, they don't take well to that kind of stuff. But if you can go to these in-person events and like meet real estate agents, also, you know, rack your like brain on everyone you know. Who do you know that might know a real estate agent? Like anywhere you can make those connections. Like I said, you know, I had a lot of personal connections, but like a lot of them were just like someone I know knows somebody. So I, you know, it's like, or I noticed on Facebook that, you know, so-and-so's sister is a realtor and they helped them get a house. You know, it's like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like talking to those people, you know, because if you have an in somewhere, like, because you know somebody that knows them, you know, like anything you can use your, you know, to get that line of communication open, you know, is huge, I think, you know.
Agreed. And I think that, you know, I don't know if Women's Council of Realtors is in everybody's area, but groups like that, anything with any of the big associations, National Association of Realtors, and granted, there's a cost to it, but there's a cost, you know, cost of business. So
Yeah.
sometimes being a part of that, you know, I associated with the Women's Council of Realtors in Chicago, and it was great because you're having FaceTime. And again, sometimes it's building the relationship before you ever get to a sale. It may have, for some, it took me 2 or 3 months of just showing up before anybody, you know, even recognized or, you know, wanted to talk about business. So sometimes showing up is half the battle. And I think that when you put the time and effort in, the efforts are rewarded on the other side.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. Persistence. Just keep trying, keep at it, because that's a lot. That's another thing I thought about too for this was like, you know, I think a lot of people, like, you know, through my YouTube channel, and I get a lot of people that are just starting out, and I talk to, you know, you get messages from people and comments, and just like, and I feel for them. It's like it's hard to get that ball rolling. It's hard to get started in this. You know, it's like, how do you do it? And, you know, and a lot of people I think like, you know, within a year they can be up and running and being, you know, full-time real estate. Like that was not the case for me. It took me a few years, you know, like it's something that you're gonna have to work towards, you know, for quite a while before it becomes like a full-time thing. But once it, you know, like you just said, like that persistence and hard work will pay off. You just have to just keep doing it. It's not going to happen overnight. It might not happen in a year. It might not happen in 2 years. You know, it might take 3, 4, you know, like, but just keep doing it. And then you'll get a few clients, and then you'll get a few more. And, you know, it just will happen. It just takes time. You know, I think a lot of people don't, you know, I just wanted to bring that up because I feel like people don't have that perception of it. Like, you know, they don't realize, you know, could it happen in 6 more innings, you know, can happen that fast, but you know, it's highly unlikely.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it's something it's something you have to build up over you know, quite a bit of time. For people that I know that.
Yeah. So we're kind of entering into the last portion of our time together, and I want to make sure we ask a couple questions. We have a little bit of a speed round, but and you mentioned some of it just a minute ago. But for photographers just starting out in real estate, what are your top 2 or 3 things that they can do to really get their business started?
Yeah, I think it's basically just what I mentioned just now. Just like be persistent, put the effort in, try to make those connections any way you can, meet realtors wherever you can, and you know, it won't happen overnight, but just you know, like I just said, just you know, keep at it, keep working hard at it. You know, I know it's cliche, but you know, it's like it's true though. At least you know, from my experience, you put the effort, whatever you put your effort into, and the time, invest the time into, it will, you know, it will pay off. You just really just have to have that consistency and the willpower, and not, you know, you're gonna get discouraged. It's gonna be discouraging in the beginning. It's, you know, you'll feel like it's impossible, but you know, you just push through, and you know, it will pay off. That's really, you know, I think the key to everything, you know.
Absolutely.
Key to life.
I want to just take a moment to introduce Tammy and myself. I didn't do it at the very beginning, but we are community managers here at CubiCasa. We're here to help build the community and grow this group of photographers. We're both photographers. Tammy on the West Coast, and you can introduce yourself if you like, Tammy.
Sure. So I'm Tammy Dwight. I live about an hour south of Seattle. I've been doing photography many years. I've done weddings, headshots, some product. And a few years ago, I quit my sales job and decided, because photography was the only thing that I ever really wanted to do, like you said, Mike, just to put all the eggs in that basket and just keep working on it. So for the last couple of years, I've been working as a real estate photographer. So I do stills. I do, as you mentioned, last year, of course, I had to jump into the 360 bandwagon. So learned that. Learning to drone, which I very much enjoyed your YouTube video. So there's a long story on that, but I'll be starting over. So blah, blah, all of this to say, being a real estate photographer was what led me to know about CubiCasa, because I had a client who asked for a floor plan, and I had to create one the old-fashioned way, using laser measure and pen and paper. And so I had that experience and said, there has got to be a better way, which led me to CubiCasa. And now I'm so thrilled to be a representative here for the certified photographers. So if anyone has questions for me, if I can help with anything, please reach out to me. I'll be happy to help however I can.
Awesome, thank you. And as I mentioned, I'm Marc Smith. I am also a real estate photographer. I've been doing photography for probably about 28 years now. Real estate photography for about 6. And I love it. I love being able to share and impact and really dig into the realtor community. Like Mike said, and you know, we've said during this conversation, realtors have become my family. And it's great to be able to have a group of people to interact and associate with. And I love every minute of it. And like Tammy said, we want to just grow and help you push your business along. And if there's any way we can help, we definitely will. There is a question that came in from Linda. She asked, how far do you travel for your real estate shoots? So Mike, you want to grab that one?
Sure. I mean, the bulk of my shoots are within like a half an hour from where I live, but I all over the place. I was a couple of days ago, like I vacation homes, like rentals, Airbnb. So they have a bunch of properties in not New York City, like the state of New York, like in the mountain range, like area. So like a couple hours away. So I was 2 hours away the other day. So yeah, I mean, I'm, going, it depends, but most of the time I'm within 30, 45 minutes away, but that definitely isn't always the case. Sometimes hour and a half, 2 hours, across state lines. That happens every so often. I've done stuff around the city. I've shot in Brooklyn. I've shot, occasionally, we're in Jersey. So I'm like an hour away from south of New York City, sort of on the shore, Jersey Shore here. And, but we have a lot of New Yorkers come down here in the summer and, have summer places down here. And there's a lot of connection with New York City and New Jersey, obviously. So I get that overlap. So I've definitely, I'm up in that vicinity, Jersey City, across the river. I do a bunch of stuff there a lot. And, so I'm all over New Jersey quite a bit. So.
Yeah, and I'm very much the same here in North Carolina. I'm in the Triad, which is between Winston-Salem and Greensboro, but I travel to Raleigh-Durham. I travel down to Charlotte, which are an hour away. Coming from Chicagoland, it took me an hour and a half to 3 hours to get downtown. So traveling an hour is like a no-brainer. So no, Linda, you're not nuts. It's par for the course.
Yeah, it's definitely part of the job. Spending a lot of time in the car, definitely, it's part of the job, for sure.
Yeah. And if anybody else has any questions, feel free to drop them in. Tammy, how far do you travel?
Oh, I go anywhere. And I mean, I guess there's always the option of charging a travel charge, which I haven't done. Like you said, if I have to drive for 2 hours through Seattle traffic, that's just the way it is. But if I get a good one where I'm driving for 2 hours just on the highway, I don't even care. It's just part of the job. So I'll go anywhere.
Awesome.
Yeah, I will. That's a good point. I do charge a bit of a travel. If it's over an hour away, I will tack on a little bit of a travel charge. Because then it's like, yeah, I'm giving, that's time I could be shooting. So it's like kind of can be taking money out of your pocket. So I try not to be like, if it's like an hour away, I'll be like, I'll charge them $50 or something. Not, I don't try to get crazy about it, but I got to charge something because it's like time I'm spending that I could be making money. So,
Yes.
but yeah, that that's definitely something, that could go either way, depending on,
Yeah.
if you live,
It is.
if you live out in the country too, and like everything's an hour away, then that doesn't make sense, But
Right.
it very much depends on your situation, I think. But
yeah, you don't want to discourage someone from booking you because of a travel charge,
yeah,
which is kind of where I am. I'd rather have the work. So
I hear you. I know it's a very touchy thing, and I struggle with it. And if it's like, if it's a big job or whatever, then no, I'm not going to do that. But yeah, it is situational too in that regard. Like, or if it's a client that gives me a ton of business, I'm not going to do that. It does depend on the situation.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
One other comment from Keith, and this is one that I know is going to hit a lot of buttons. So he said, I'm running into the issue that the market is moving too fast. Houses selling before I get in, and realtors are going with cheaper options or doing it themselves because houses are basically flying off the market. Mike, you want to comment, and then we'll go around the horn.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's definitely a problem. I've definitely got a few calls lately, like canceling because they booked me for a couple days away, but we got an offer, like don't need it, and that does stink. But it's not going to be. But I mean, I'm pretty busy. I've been busy though, even though the inventory's supposedly low. Like I'm still super busy. So I mean, I'm not complaining. But But what I'll say to that is, it's not going to last,
Yeah.
it's not going to be like this forever. This bubble's going to burst, or level out or whatever. I think by the end of this year, it's not going to, can't last for that long. I don't know, but not going to be the same. Like everything, it goes up and down, whatever. But also, to Keith's point about going with somebody cheaper, I don't know, if an agent's doing that, like they're not a client they're not a long-term client anyway. Like, yeah, that those are clients that are, not going to be loyal or, or really value what you do. So if an agent did that to you, I wouldn't even worry about it. Like let it go, because if they didn't do it now, they would drop you for something, later on for a similar reason. And they're just not one of those, good clients. So.
Yeah, I agree. And what I've been reinforcing with my realtors and even realtors that I don't work with, but I just share the value, propositions that, like Mike said, one, the market is going to change at some point. But two, this is a representation of your business as a realtor. So what you produce today is going to be remembered tomorrow. Yep. So how you present yourself, how you go about your business, if you short people today, those are the same people who are going to be referring you later. So I think it's just really helping to keep it, front of mind with our realtors that, marketing is still marketing. You're still professional. You still have to present, no matter what the market is doing, to the best of your ability. And I'm here to help you do that. Right.
And then like the agents that understand that, like, they'll be like, no, oh, I already got an offer on the house, but I want you to come and do the photos anyway, because like, and that's another reason too for sticking with a photographer. And like the materials the media that we provide these agents, we're like the face of their company. Like we're their marketing materials. We're branding for them. Like, yep. So if they're using a bunch of different photographers and their stuff looks all different, and they're just like budget shopping photographers, and these agents that are that do well and have a successful team or whatever, even like that have built a name for themselves, they did so because they have consistency in their presentation of their product, which is a home that they're selling. And we provide that consistency, and that's the value that we bring. So okay. Definitely wary on those clients that are just like that are just drop you because they're looking for the bottom of the barrel pricing or whatever it is. It's just that's a red flag to me.
Agreed.
So.
Yeah.
All right, well, we are at the close of our time, and I know everybody has many things to do. Tammy, do you want to give some final remarks, and then we'll go to Mike, and then we'll just shout out everybody and close out?
Yes. Well, I have one final question for you, Mike. And it kind of goes back to what you mentioned earlier about being a partner to your agents and being aware of new things that are coming. What do you see just technology wise and services wise that are things that we should be aware of, that we should maybe get tuned up now on, so we're ready to go and have that information for our clients?
Yeah. I think, I mentioned, the 3D tours this year have been a big thing. So I think, that's definitely something to keep an eye on. But the video, I think video is like, I mentioned a lot in my YouTube videos, but, and it's not just because I like video, but I just do, I feel like there's been, even before COVID, like just every year, like almost like my demand for videos have been like exponentially just increasing every year. And I think that's a very underutilized media for real estate. And, it's definitely becoming more and more popular. And I think we're going to see a lot more platforms embracing that, and a lot more agents wanting it as a result of that. And I think that's something that I would say, I think is something to keep an eye on, and definitely like, the walkthrough. I'm referring to like walkthrough videos and just, all that stuff. And yeah, the video, as a media in general, and drone videos. I get tons of drone videos. I mean, but the walkthrough interior stuff, just, that specifically has been, also with COVID, that's another thing that's taken off more so. But like I said, even before that, it's just been gaining a lot of steam, I feel like.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And just to thank you again so much for taking the time. It's, I can see how busy you are. Your YouTube channel, it looks like you have something new like every week. So thank you for taking the time out. It was great to have you here.
Yeah, I really appreciate you guys having me. I love what you guys are doing. It seems like you guys have a great team and great product that I'm stoked on. As you said, really revolutionizing the whole floor plan thing, and making it something actually fun to create instead of like a tedious nightmare. So I thank you very much for doing that. And you guys have been great. Any questions I've ever had, and your customer service has just been phenomenal. And everyone I've spoken to, that works with you guys has been absolutely incredible. So thank you. And thank you for asking me to do this. And I appreciate it. And nice meeting you guys face to face.
Likewise. Well, thanks again for your time, Mike. It's been a pleasure hearing from you, and I hope everybody has gotten a little bit of something that they can take into their business so that you can expand, grow, and do more than what you're doing today. Thank you for your time. We'll be sending you your gifts for those who enter your information. If not, you can send an email to marc.smith@CubiCasa.com or tammy.dwight@CubiCasa.com, and we'll make sure that you get your gift. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll be doing this again. So stay tuned, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Take care, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.